Hello, I'm here at a property on Chapel Street where the landlord evicted the tenants, and then instead of renting it out again, they did this. They just boarded up the property. It is still possible to get inside, but we won't get into that. The property is worth an estimated $1.83 million and is just kind of sitting here on one of the busiest streets in Melbourne. So yeah, we love to see it, but that brings me to my next topic. I got a message today from a Victorian Government Minister's office with this press release saying that the Allen Labor government is announcing a crackdown on vacant properties in Melbourne, which is a really good thing. This is objectively a good thing. We shouldn't have vacant homes in Victoria while people are homeless. The Victorian Government announced that they did an investigation of just 5 properties in Melbourne, 5 apartment buildings, and they found that 177 apartments, 177 properties were liable for the vacant residential land tax. This is from just 5 properties, and this resulted in 337 vacant residential land tax assessments. This is because the land tax started in 2019 but relied on landlords self-reporting these properties to pay the tax. But now the Victorian Government is starting to actually enforce this tax. So yeah, this is how the land tax works. If a property is vacant for 6 months of a calendar year, you pay a 1% tax on the capital improved value of that property. If it's vacant for another 6 months over another calendar year, that's a 2% tax. So that's 1%, then 2%, and then if it's vacant for a third year, and every year after that, it's 3% of the capital improved value of the property. And that just keeps going every year. If you don't rent out your property, or if you do nothing with the property, you pay a land tax. It's pretty good. There are some downsides to this announcement. Number one, holiday homes are exempt from the vacant residential land tax, and this exemption has been expanded to include properties owned by trusts and properties owned by companies. What this means is that Victoria's richest landlords can put their residential property, their investment property, into a trust or into a company account like a self-managed super fund or something like that, and be exempt from this tax. And yeah, that's just ridiculous. Why should we exclude the richest landlords from this tax? There are a number of Victorian Labor government ministers who have properties that are held in trust, investment properties, that will be exempt from this land tax. And I think that's not fair. I think this is a really good step in the right direction, but I think that exemption should be removed completely. There's also this great little announcement at the end, and it says Victorians can notify the State Revenue Office about a vacant property that could be used as a home or developed at this link. And what that means is if you've seen a home that's been vacant for 6 months of a calendar year, dob them in. Dob that property in, and that landlord will have to pay tax. You can also dob that landlord in to me. There's a link in my link tree, and I'll slowly make these properties available for people to actually live in instead of just pay a tax on, because this is ridiculous. But I do want you all to remember that it's not snitching if you're dobbing in a member of the ruling class. These landlords are hoarding homes during a housing crisis and letting them go empty and not doing anything with them. I do want to thank the Victorian Government for doing something about these vacant homes. I think it's a really, really good step, and I hope that the New South Wales Government and other governments across Australia follow suit in doing this, because one, it means I have to make less videos, but two, it's the right thing to do. And also, finally, if the Victorian State Revenue Office wants a list of just some homes that should be paying tax, I've got a list for them. Love you. Also, if you want to support what I do, please feel free to grab some merch or join the Patreon. It's all in the link tree, but also don't do that if you don't want, because life is tough right now. And also, final reminder, join the Renters and Housing Union or your housing union in your state, and join your trade unions. Love you all.